been asking this, especially to my Austin residents.
Hmm.
Um, do you think, I won't say believe because I don't think it's a belief. Do you think part of the issue with the black on black crime is that find we cannot trust the police as a community ourselves? You get what I'm saying? There's been such a long history from one generation to another of African American people not being able to trust the police. Like, the last resort is for us to call the police, not the first.
Facts.
For
Yeah.
us as African American people, it's not to call the police to help de escalate the situation, because once they come in, it's going to be taken to a different type of.
Yeah. Yep. Right. And for the most part, that's what we know.
Correct. That's what we know. That's what we trust. We know
Yeah.
this.
That's
That's
what
what
we
we've
know.
experienced.
Yep.
So,
Well,
therefore, with that being said, do you think if we had an authority system that we could trust, black on black crime would not occur as much as it does?
nah, because I'm not gonna place that. I'm a huge
Hmm.
guy that believes in responsibility. So that's
Hmm.
personal responsibility and self accountability. I think those first and foremost need to be instilled in our community and on a larger scale. And respect for self and others, and you're supposed to treat your other self, which is your brother, like your other self. And so, would you want to go around and kill your other self or yourself? Period.
Correct.
No, right. And so part of that, to me, comes stems from that fact alone, that we don't view each other as brothers and more as enemies, because we are
Mhm.
fighting constantly for what little exists, right? So we
Correct.
in turn turn ourselves into competition each time that we do something that another person deems to be greater than them, right? So if I get a new car and nobody else on the block got a new car, whose car is getting broke in, right? So if I come and I'm dressed nice and you're not, who's getting robbed? And so that, to me, speaks more to what we don't
Yeah.
have in our community as a whole. We don't have enough business that supports our community, because small business is what drives local economy and helps to stabilize communities and provide jobs in the local community. So we don't
Hmm.
have enough jobs. We're not taught how to be entrepreneurs and make our own money. Enough money in this world that everybody could get a small percentage and be just fine, but we don't know how to create businesses for ourselves. So due to a lack of understanding of how to go get some
Hmm.
money outside of selling drugs, we don't know anything else. And so we stuck in this mode of, well, if hustling means we got to go sell drugs. So then again, now you're competing once again with the other drug dealers. You're creating
In the
conflict
same community.
because right. So now you're creating competition and conflict again. And competition for us does not mean competition in a way that you're competing, so now I have to better what I do in order to be the better business. It's conflict creation. You're
Correct.
competing and now you're creating conflict with me, right? Again, because each time we see somebody do better, we feel that that person is shitting on us in some way, shape, or form. It
Hmm.
hurts the ego, hurts the pride, and
Hmm.
um it creates this sense that I'm not good enough, and a lot of us lack true self-esteem, true self-worth, true self-efficacy, because we grow up in a society, number one, that constantly depicts us as less than. So we have to deal with that growing up. A lot of
Hmm.
times our parents are super young when they have us, and so
Hmm.
they aren't
Patients are
all
low.
they're not established or set in their ways. So we're learning from people who are not whole, right? So we
Correct.
learn we so we're learning how to maneuver in this world from people who haven't learned how to maneuver themselves. And so the problems to me are inherent of the Black community because it comes from a destabilized home base. Fathers are gone, grandmothers are 36 now. The
Yeah.
programs and the resources that used to maintain us, like through the summer, that used to
They don't have them
um,
anymore.
we don't have them, right? Although the world is increasingly in the U.S. To that to in the same respect is becoming richer. People are constantly getting richer. Our communities are getting poorer, and it doesn't add up. The police factors in because they are shepherds, just like they used to be, of Black
Hmm.
people in marginalized communities who again are competitive with one another. So when they come and they see the same thing that we see constantly, they never see the brilliant side of the culture because for the most part that isn't portrayed. So they have their biases, their racist tendencies in some cases because they exist. They have
Correct.
their preconceived notions and they come into the community thinking, oh, this shit is the OK Corral. I'm here to shepherd some shit in real life,
Hmm.
right? And so, yes, they're going to
Hmm.
come in and they're going to exhibit all of the signs of somebody that again lacks knowledge because all they know is what they're taught. And police like to say that they come from a logical standpoint where um, I am going to take my best understanding of the situation based
Right.
off what I've been trained, based off how I've been trained, based on my interactions, past and in some respects present, and I'm also going to look at what this situation looks like in front of me, how it's unfolding. Take all that into consideration and say that this is the best way to extinguish this current situation.
Right.
And as such, most of the time, and I looked at the numbers because I just did a class assignment. Since
Okay.
2015, use of force has been enacted on the Black community 15,000 times, as opposed to the Latino community 2,600 times and the white community 600 times. Um, uh, Obviously, those are rough estimates, but those numbers are accurate because you can go look on the Chicago city's website and find that as
Hmm.
well. The thing that's appalling is that we are the minority of the minority now, right? We
Correct.
are less in population than the Latino community, and we are what's that number? That is almost 7 times
Times.
more likely to be have to have violence exhibited among to us when it comes to CPD. So yeah, I think
Right.
again, being someone who believes that it starts with self, it starts at home, it starts in community. We are the determinants of our community and the reason why it is the way that it is. But again, I can't fault my people for the way we think because this is a condition that's been placed on us that
Hmm.
we have to fight through. We gained our independence in terms of our body, but we didn't gain it in the mind. And we're working there. And so
Hmm.
we have to get there first before we can improve how our community totally looks. And the police just adds gasoline to the fire that is our community.